just crawl into the underworld. Afterlife, on the beach protect you. And the light, goddess of the sun, brings you life. A deity, best it is her name. Come learn the ways of man, become one with the sand. The fate is in your hands. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing your mark. Get like mystical formation. Turn on the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this is war. In the dark, a river flows. The Nile is so power. The morning star is seen in our side. In the light, find your desert altar and your shrine. Look for peace, defeat the enemy. Run to the obelisk, defend this legacy. Fly to your destiny. It's time to fight. You will rise, not fall. Never lose hope on the ground. We are one for all. The truth will always conquer. Capture the earth, chasing your mark. Get like mystical formation. Turn on the walls, beat on the drums. Let us claim this. We rise, reach for the sky. Hold on to your weapons with pride. We rise up higher, conquer the ark. Get ready to fight for your life. We rise up. We are the kings, we are the queens. We are the gods, gods of soft this animation. Turn on the walls, making our mark. 'Cause we are the kings, we are the queens. Let's win this war.
Hello, governors. Welcome to Osiris League Season 8 Playoff Semifinals. I'm your host, Plato Gaming caster and content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, and casting alongside me yet again is Dirty Dan. Thanks for being here with me, man.
Thanks for having me again. And we're really getting down to the nitty gritty of these Osiris Leagues. We are now officially into the semifinals, and these are going to be some really great matches to watch here over the next few weeks.
Yes, sir. We are in the third stage of the knockout stage, the semifinals, where each team is in a win or go home scenario against each other, fighting for the crown of Osiris League champions. And the first match that we are casting today will be in the realm of Basset W34X from Kingdom 2934 versus 65 AC from Kingdom 3065. 65 AC made a deep playoff run last season in Osiris League in the realm of Sobek, also making it to the semifinals during that run. However, they were actually ultimately stopped by W34X, who are their opponents standing before them yet again. Yes, this matchup is a direct rematch of last season's Realm of Sobek semifinals, where W34X was able to get the win against 65 AC, making it to the finals, but eventually losing to 75 DC. W34X versus 65 AC, a rematch of rivals. Will W34X guide history to repeat itself, or will 65 AC take their revenge? Dirty Dan, what do you think?
I mean, just initial thoughts, and I've kind of had some gripes with the way that these brackets have come out, but I think Lilith definitely gave the community a dub here by allowing these two to meet back up in the semifinals, duke it out once again, build some of that drama, build some of the legacy for their teams, and a true rivalry, I think, forming here, which you love to see. I mean, I'm a big sports guy, and you see any of these traditional sports, and you always have one or two, three key rivalries, and I think that in this new realm of Bastet, you are going to start to see a little bit of a rivalry starting to form here. So it's going to be interesting to see if 65 AC is going to be able to redeem themselves in the semifinals. I'm really looking forward to it. It looks like both teams having pretty similar powers, pretty well developed accounts. So I think we should see a pretty nice slug match between these two teams.
Out of all the teams you can meet in Osiris League, there were like 500 teams, and then there was 32, there was 16, there was 8, there were 4, and these two teams yet again, Dirty Dan, in the same side of the bracket to make it to the finals. And we watched W34X last week, and they were pretty dominant. 65 AC, they definitely have something to prove, and maybe that extra fire from losing last season, they were with that extra motivation, they're able to practice, they're able to bring out some extra strats here. It'll be super interesting to see how they match up against W34X. And the thing is, not to bring it up because you're from this kingdom, the champions from last season in the realm of Sobek are not there anymore. So yeah. I feel like this realm of Bassa is pretty wide open for anyone to, take.
Totally wide open. I think that, we saw it even in the first couple matches where Mimi had a few upsets. Like, power doesn't too much in these Osiris leagues as we kind of progress into it, and really kind of comes down to your mechanics, how your strategy is playing out, how long have you been playing together as a team, which these two teams have been playing some significant time with one another. And I think as upon looking at these a little bit, 65 AC, I think maybe looking to be a little bit favorable in terms of maybe those mid fights. They are going to be using a skill from what it looks like that we haven't really seen too much of, which is going to be the resurgence of mystical formation, potentially as a counter to Bogdown, while as W34X on the other side is going to be focused a little bit more potentially on structures, favoring the Valiant stand, which me and you have talked up a lot over the past few weeks, and how much we love that 1-point skill usage. So we might get a tale of two takes here, very similarly to what we saw in that WIB versus JST match, where maybe one team is going for full structure focus, and the other team is going to look to cap arcs. So this is going to be a very good match in developing and setting up for these finals next week.
A very good match indeed. As we get into the game here, we have our matchup here. W34X in the top left corner. We're just gonna call them 34.
Yeah, I think we did the last.
And we have 65 AC in the bottom right. You can see the teleports coming in slowly but surely. Just making sure everyone's in the right position here. Dirty Dan, what's your predictions for this match? Will 65 AC be able to take their revenge, or will 34, make it back to the finals?
So I'm gonna call this out because I should have done it last week, and I realized this late, but I actually fought 34 in 2 KVKs ago before I migrated in 2581. They were so strong. I totally forgot to call them out last week and give them a little bit of a shout out, but 2934 was so strong in that KVK, really holding down their own camp. So just from what I saw with them and kind of like the experience I have with them, I'm gonna lean for W34X on this, just purely for kind of that relationship that I kind of have with that game.
We see Caitlyn from League of Legends being the lead here. You can see the power is pretty good power. I don't think power will be that big of a difference. Honestly, when you're about 3 billion power as an alliance, that's usually the breakpoint of when, okay, you could just heal up your troops. You have full T5 marches at that point for most of your players.
I'm looking here on the stats. It looks like 65 AC has been healing a little bit more this season. So I would say this though, as we're getting deeper into these runs, the healing is going to start to become a factor for some of these. If they don't, or some of these players, I should say, for those guys who may not have a lot of speed ups, could start to play a little bit.
I mean, both of these teams got a training skin last season, so hopefully they trained up for this Osiris League match, Osiris League playoff run rather. As we have 30 seconds to go, is there any hidden strats that we should be seeing from these two teams? Anything peculiar out of the meta, out of the blue from these entrances here?
I would say and I don't know if we would see this on this, but I would say potentially next match, look out for it. But I think the Obelisk play with sneaky tactics is something that everyone has to watch out for now, because if you don't honor that play, it totally throws your entire play into a loop. So I would just keep an eye out for that, and then as opposed to any other bold strategies, we might just see a straight up match here. It's getting a little late into the run to be pulling anything kind of new or tricky out of the hat. That's my...
Yes, sir. As we see the sentries start being put down, the rallies starting to come out, the introduction rallies, 4 obelisk rallies here. We have 3 obelisk rallies for a 65 AC and 2 outpost rallies. Interestingly enough, targeting the outposts of 34 here. The first sentry, ooh, do these sentries see each other? They do not, just outside of the vision cones. So these two sentries do not see each other. Both teams using energetic from the get-go.
Very meta openings, as we've seen in prior matches. And I'm curious, or it's interesting to see that 65 AC opting for the rallies on the outpost, kind of leaning towards or showing that hand a little bit of a structure-oriented game. Whereas, kind of as I was saying in the pre-match breakdown, that we could probably see 34 taking that approach. So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe these teams are going to have a flip, and maybe 65 AC does go for a more structure-focused game.
I mean, hey, last week we saw how important those outposts were with that game. Wib versus JC coming down to pretty much 100 points. So
yep,
those 30 points per minute, I mean, they definitely make a difference. Just
they add up.
Just trying to make sure that those outposts stay honest, make sure that they have marches in there, they have a garrison in there. Be as annoying and pestering as possible with those outposts is the name of the game for successful teams, I feel. But the main name of the game is going to be these altars in the beginning. The 750 points that it gives for first occupation is a reason why we see so much focus early on for these first occupations, especially before arc spawns, just to make sure that you have that on your side and your opponents don't take it away from you. With the sentries though, I think 65 will be able to see all of the outer lane access and the amount of marches or lack thereof marches coming from 34, so they might see an opening for the Sky Altar potentially on this bottom side of the map.
Yeah, potentially, and it also too sets them up for what they're going to need to know on that defensive hold for that first desert altar as well, which is so crucial and vital, because you don't want to lose your home structures right off the bat.
We start to see the rallies here. They are cavalry rallies, so I would be pretty suspect of, okay, 34 did use a cavalry rally and broke it. Usually what I see is, I guess it's changed a little bit, but before in previous seasons, people would use infantry rallies, people would use archer rallies, because rallies walk faster than marches, and infantry and archer marches typically are the slowest, but a cavalry rally would kind of indicate a potential threat for an obelisk play, but I don't really see any supporting marches from 65 AC, so
yeah,
I think they'll be fine in this case. Same thing with this rally here. It is another cavalry rally, so that might be, you know, a relic of the past in terms of just the cavalry rallies meaning a threat here. But it's always something to keep in mind. As you said, you have to respect those obelisk takes, because if you lose your obelisk early, that's the game.
Pretty much, yeah. it's so devastating, and again, it's something that we've kind of gotten used to over time and experienced well. But if you don't honor that a little bit, it'll totally ruin your entire. As we watch getting fights on the altar start.
As we see the introductory murder ball in front of the desert altar of 65 AC. W34 in a pretty good position here. Although 65 AC doing exactly what they need to do, they're body blocking, making sure that they stand between their desert altar and the opponent murder ball. At least making it a 75-25 chance for the first march to get into this desert altar. We could go ahead and check on the top desert altar as well to see, and 34 being a lot more successful in terms of their push and their defense. There's no threat on their desert altar, so we'll go back to this bottom desert altar, which kind of looks like a 50-50 at this point.
Does look like one, yeah.
It'll come down to which team is able to get their march in first. We see the Gorgo Heraclius in the back just waiting to get into the structure. The structure is open. Who gets in first? It is 65. Oh, no, it is not 65. You see, it is a 34 in there with a Gorgo.
With the Gorgo.
Wow.
Good snipe there. I was just going to call out, too, if we're going to potentially see Eleanor's the way that we saw in last week's WIB versus JST matches. Because that was some of those holds were extremely impressive. So I'm very curious to be on. I will be on Eleanor watch today for sure.
We are at Eleanor watch. I'll be on Belisarius watch. I already see one with Porky-Bing Belisarius, which is what I personally used in my KVK.
Yep.
I'm telling you, people were making fun of Belisarius, but I feel like he's pretty good. I mean, you and I are Belly believers.
I am all in the Belly Kool-Aid right now. He is so good, and I laugh at anyone who says that.
I feel like you have to have like 4 to 5 marches though if you're using Belisarius, just for the expertise. Yeah. For those that don't know, you gain more all damage the more marches hitting the same target as Belisarius. So that's the main reason why it's super good. Just 12% all damage when 5 targets are hitting the same. Marches are hitting the same target rather. As we have 5 minutes 50 seconds until arc spawns. Everyone's still being in this building game though, trying to get their resets. This desert altar hold is going to be huge though. 1 minute 30 seconds before they get first occupation. 750 points. Dirty Dan is no slouch in terms of point amount here for first occupation with 1 minute 20 seconds to go, and we see just 65 AC trying their best, diving for this desert altar, diving for these points because they need these points to even out this series here, this game.
Might be where, and again, I'm always one to be cautious on, especially before your first fight, but maybe there's a Valiant stand that might come in. W34 does use this skill quite a lot, so there's a lot of presence here though. I don't know if it would be a good call, but I would say we definitely look out.
I mean, if there's a Valiant stand skill, I guess it's because, you know, first arc fight is going to be soon. That one skill point might prove to be useful mid, but 750 points is a lot to take. But it does look like 65. Wait.
Good swap with the Hera, but I don't know if it's going to hold on. Hey, he's holding.
34. March swapping as much as possible, trying to make sure that this structure stays healthy. 19 seconds. I don't think they have another healthy March though, Dirty Dan. And there you go. 65 AC with a clutch on their own desert altar, making sure that they don't give up first occupation. They did lose 75 times 3 points per minute there. But at least they're able to take control of the 750 points that would have been taken. Shrine of Life, I don't know if first occupation was taken for Shrine of Life there as well. For it was not actually. So with Shrine of Life actually up for grabs in terms of first occupation. 400 points, not as much as the altar, but still 400 points. Plus not having the 5% troop health and 5% march speed buff for mid might be pretty big. But because there are marches in this Shrine of Life, that means those marches will potentially be late for this mid fight. Although it does look like 34 having just marches to face check here making sure that they see exactly where 65 AC are.
Yeah, this is going to be. Looks like both teams kind of getting in a little bit late, but if you're both getting in around the same time, then that 5-minute mark isn't too big of a worry. So the structures on the board look to be stabilizing a little bit. I think we're going to have a pretty nice fight on this first one with both skill bars able to be used well.
Yeah, it's this will be an interesting fight here. Whoever takes control of the first arc essentially can dictate if there's going to be a third arc or not. So, as you said, 34 looking pretty dominant in the structures, although it is pretty even now. But they did deny Desert Altar occupation. They denied Shrine of Life first occupation. And perhaps they think that they can continue to aggress on these 65 AC structures and hold the arc, or 65 AC saying that, hey, if we win this mid fight, maybe our win condition is through mid, and we will, you know, continue to take these arcs and fast take them, so that structures will not matter as much. As we start to see 65 AC push in a little bit here, it's looking more than just a face check here. It's looking like a full commit from 65 AC, and 34, not all of their murder balls here yet. We start to see Bog Down used. We see To the Death by 65 on the first arc.
Wow, that's huge.
To the Death usage on the first arc is I don't think I've seen that before. Dust Up to the Death. Sneaky Tactics, Bog Down, Dust Up by 34 in response. And this is more of what we've been seeing. Sneaky Tactics used as a... at least I think it was used mid. Used as just for the attack bonus, I guess. But yeah, let's see. To the Death. First arc.
They got to make... This has to pay off for them. If they don't, it's huge loss. Although... I think on the side for 34, they tend to not use To the Death, so that would kind of make sense a little bit if they don't have that in their cards and if they're not holding on to that. So, but I would still be on the one to say that 65 AC has to make this arc count for using a To the Death on the first one. Because you, like you said before, if you take this arc, you're going to assume control of the match, actually. So they have to make this count.
Yeah, they have to make it count, Dirty Dan. They have to. Even if 34 does not have To the Death, that's To the Death. You can only use one time a match, which is why you don't usually see it for the first arc. First arc, you know, meaning the least amount of points, rather, because it is only 3k, increases by 500 every arc. But it does look like if we were to see the murder ball, to see the dot mode, that 34
is clearing them out.
Clearing them out, even with To the Death.
Did misspeak Plato too. 34 definitely uses To the Death. So they have that in their bag for sure. So this is a crushing blow for 65 AC. Losing this first arc, and then you got to go out on a whim and say that they're potentially going to lose a second one due to that To the Death that's in the pocket for 34.
That is devastating for 65. Just committing fully for that first arc, but 34's March is just punching like a truck. Dirty Dan, you said he first them in KVK, and that must have been a tough KVK because they are just wiping 65 even with To the Death. Is kind of unheard of, especially for a first arc.
I was going to allude to that too. I mean, from everything I remember from that KVK, I mean, there was a lot of open field back and forth, and we had to be careful. We couldn't be the aggressor that we usually liked to be with them too much because they were so strong. You're seeing it here going up against a damage bonus in favor of the enemy, and they're just, you know what? We're good. We don't need it. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's To the Death. Oh, they are diving this arc, by the way. 65 just sending marches here, and I think they know that if they give up this arc for free, then it's going to be a tough road to climb, tough route to climb. Because yeah, it's gonna be this arc, and then it's gonna be potentially the next arc. So just diving this arc carry, even with a Jan. This is the kitchen sink right here. They have the Jan Heraclius just out in the open field trying to catch this arc carrier. That's how you know they're bringing everything to this arc. But it does look like 34 are prepared. They have a little bit of a murder ball here just to, delay and make sure that the marches are not a threat. And it looks like they call off their play and they go towards the Desert Altar. But the Desert Altar has Valiant Stand on it. That extra defense, just making sure that it stands longer than it would have to make sure that these marches coming from home can fill the structure. It is a Gorgo, I believe, with Heraclius. So it should be able to be filled with anything. Is it Heraclius or is it? It is Heraclius.
Yeah, it looked like Heraclius, yeah.
But the thing is, even with Valiant Stand, you have to fill the structure or else it will fall. 65 AC, at least consolation prize, taking their opponent Desert Altar for a little bit here.
And this is what they need to do. We saw this last week. It's not, sometimes it's not always all about arcs. You have to be extremely dominant in the way that JST was in structure game. But this thing isn't over. If you say, hey guys, okay, we lost first arc, let's go. We have to put it to them on structure. Also kind of doing all those small things like they did to open the match. They had a couple outposts. They got to get aggressive on altars right now. They got to probably think about throwing a provisioner or two. Nothing crazy, but start getting a little bit of points at the end. As we saw that in last week's match, those provisioners at the end mattered. So it's not totally out of the cards for 65 just yet, but they gotta start pushing the issue on the structures right now. And that altar take was a good start.
Yeah, they gotta scrape up any points they can, even taking these outposts, just something. As we see Belisarius Prime here as primary. Wait, what's that? Who's the second? Suleiman?
Oh no!
Wow!
Oh.
Suleiman spotting in Arc. That commander name's not even in my vocabulary. I don't even know how to say it properly. Apologies for mispronouncing.
Oh gosh!
Wow.
So we actually have a guy who just migrated to us who his name is Swarmer, and he does exactly that, and he uses Suleiman as a Swarmer on flag and forts. So there is a little bit of a debuff there. I'm trying to pull it up right now so that we got it, but there is a little bit of hey, that kind of works, but I don't know about the Belisarius Prime.
that was I mean, I love to see it. I love to see these new commanders come out. But we see a did you see that? Dragon Lancer?
Oh boy.
Wow.
Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah.
We're seeing all colors of commanders here. We don't discriminate in Osiris League. We got the advanced commanders. We got Suleiman. Wow, this is a cast of characters here as commanders.
This is no. Try not to throw any fades here, but this is, I feel like, what you see in the newer realms at times.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. These guys got the skins and we don't, Dirty Dan. They're doing something right. As we continue on with this match, the structures, going back on topic here, look like they are pretty much even, which to your point is going to be in 34's advantage because they have the arc. They also have a 400 point lead, barely losing out in terms of the points per minute. They're losing by 20 points per minute, which is from the Shrine of Life being taken. So it looks pretty stable, which is going to be in 34's favor because of their first arc dominance and the fact that they have to the death and 65, they potentially have to the death and 65 don't for the second arc fight.
Yeah, big uphill battle. I mean, I personally, if I'm again, we don't have the skin, but personally, I would like to make like the steps. Start with you started with the altar delay, right after that arc cache. Go for the outpost. Let's start small. Let's get something in there, and then you kind of start building up that confidence a little bit. Okay, guys, we got a couple more points on the board. We're kind of swinging that, because as you're playing these matches and you're looking up at points per minute like that definitely is going to have an effect on players' mentalities. So just starting to grow the lead a little bit and kind of give a little bit of encouragement to your team, especially losing a mid fight like that where you use to the death, is so huge, because players do get discouraged, and I've seen it firsthand happen in KVKs, as we see the Belisarius primary yet again
with the onion hat man, as people call him, I believe.
Yeah, so he does do 20% normal damage reduction and 20% skill damage reduction, but it's only for 3 seconds and a 10% proc. So quite the bring him just for 10%. But yeah, I mean, these guys in 55, they got to keep their foot on the pedal. They've got a couple outposts in hand right now. Obviously, they don't have theirs, but those small wins should snowball into bigger victories here, hopefully, for 65.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with these outposts. And I mean, the lead's slowly but surely, getting there, which is exactly what 65 AC does. And perhaps to the death is a curse where you use the skill and you lose mid. We'll have 65 is probably hoping that would be the case for the second mid fight when it does happen. But to your point, I think 34 is super comfortable. They're just holding this arc. They believe in their structure game, and I don't think there's any reason for them not to, with how I feel like their attacks have been a lot more successful than 65 AC, where 65 AC practically can't even get to the structure. Meanwhile, they're able to flip the Desert Altar right in front of our eyes. So yeah,
open field presence is very, and I guess that's also what you're going to get in some of these younger realms, I should say, too, is like if you're getting proper Osiris League recruiting, your accounts are more so than what 2934 is. It's going to prove to be a big hurdle for these guys, because account development is so huge in these arc matches now, especially with armaments and also with the awakening gear. So I think that's proving to be real hardship for 65.
Yeah, 65 is trying to hold on to these structures, but they are falling left and right. The Shrine of War, the Desert Altar, these inner lane structures, and you can see the points per minute now, 500 points per minute to 330. It is looking tougher and tougher for these guys, and this is going to be one of those games, I feel like, where it's going to chip away slowly but surely, where 34 is going to be able to chip away. They're going to be able to take this arc and just take these little leads. This Desert Altar, for example, they're gonna take this, they're gonna be able to hold it for a little bit, deny the points, and potentially gain points for themselves from their own opponent Desert Altar, which is, a recipe for disaster for 65 AC. And then I guess if I were to ask Dirty Dan, what is 65 AC's pathway back into this game? They're only down by 500 points right now.
Yeah, 500 on the board, and then you have the arc. So
that's true.
This next, I would say they have to stabilize as first and foremost. If you can snipe, maybe an altar or two, you don't want to have these exchanges, right? I think you really truly want to stabilize your structure game, as they've been struggling to hold on to this home Desert Altar pretty much the entirety of the match. And when they get a Heraclius in there, it's almost the worst case scenario. So they got to be on the lookout for these garrisons walking through the field first and foremost, stabilize their home structure game, and really just get their mind ready for this next fight, because this next
be mentally prepared for the next fight.
This next mid fight is going to be everything. If they lose the next arc, it's pretty much GG's.
By the way, they have a Nevsky garrison, and I'm not looking at this properly. Nevsky garrison in this Desert Altar. That is the Plato special right there. Oh, there you go. We got the Gorgo. But yeah, it is going to be A close one. There's 3 minutes left until they're going to be forced to take this arc. We see a Scipio just running towards this arc carrier, potentially trying to force it to capture earlier or whatnot. Shrine of Life under contention. Oh, there's an Eleanor sighting. There we go. We see an Eleanor, which, you know, we saw a lot of in that JST WIB match that we casted last week. Now that you've had more than a week of Eleanor, what are your thoughts of Eleanor in both arc, but also just in general?
I think she makes sense for arc because you're usually fighting so confined in your structures, and there's not so many troops as there is in like KVK, because she's giving you the damage bonus to troops around. When you're in KVK, there's so many troops at times, and sometimes you don't even have the open field to obtain that buff. But I think for arc, she does definitely make sense a little. From what I've been seeing and from what I've been hearing from friends in the community, she looks like a pretty nice true counter to Asher rallies in Ks, but very much like other Cav combos in the past, just doesn't have much for the swarm. So you got to make sure that you're maintaining some kind of field control for your KVK fights. But she does look to fare pretty well against the archers and maybe some other combos, but you got to just make sure you have the field to prevent those swarms on her.
Yeah, I mean, if you have field, there's no reason for you to lose a structure, right? So it's kind of this catch-22 where she's buffing the field, but at the same time, if you're taking a rally, do you really need a buff on the field?
Yeah.
So for KVKs, I could definitely see her making a lot of sense. I mean, we've seen her make a lot of sense in Osiris League as you start to see the swarm of marches coming in from 34 towards this Shrine of War here. It just looks like that, I don't know, Dirty Dan. It feels like 34 just has more marches in general than... They're like omnipresent. They're everywhere.
It's just like step by step. It's like, okay, guys, we're going here next. Okay, we're going here. And it's just like, look on the other side too. They're so precise in their decision making. Say, okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, next. And it's just exactly what they're doing. They're playing an almost flawless match right now.
There you go. Flawless match. Call out from Dirty Dan is... I'm looking at the Belisarius combos here. We saw Belisarius with Soliman, which is not normal, but I see Huoki Bing with Belisarius. I saw XY with Belisarius. And I saw a comment earlier in a 2-march murder ball. 2 cab marches. Do you use Belisarius? Would you suggest Belisarius in 2 marches, or is he like a 3-march exclusive or a Relic KVK exclusive for those in KVK?
So I think if you're... So we're saying 2 cav marches, right? I'm assuming?
Yeah. If you were to use 2 cav marches, would you use Belisarius Prime?
So here's the question I keep getting, which is very hard to answer because he's still in my lineup, but I do run Huo, Belly, and the trades are amazing. It's like a little laser on the field that just that rips people up. And even if there's no AoE damage, guys, like he's doing fine, clearing the field and doing what he's supposed to do.
The arc was captured.
Oh yes, yeah.
6 minutes 30 seconds on the arc as we continue on with this Belisarius Prime discussion.
So then I get the question a lot of, well, is he better than William? Trade wise, yes, he is better than William. Much better at that, in my opinion. I ran a lot of the Huo William last KVK, and kind of flipping back and forth too with Joe in secondary, trying to figure that out. But trade wise, he definitely does do much better than William. The only question that I can't answer to people, because William's still in my lineup, is does it make my lineup weaker? I'm honestly not sure. I'll try and play around and test with it, because I do have the combos available in my cav lineup to take him out. So we'll see. But I would say that for a 2 cav lineup, I would say Belisarius is probably not meta, but I would say Nevsky Joan first, and then probably Huo if you're thinking about 2 cav setup.
Oh, interesting. Benching the William is it's funny you talk about how William doesn't trade positively, but I literally just posted a video about how William was my best trading March last KVK. So it's really subjective, right? That's the interesting part about Rise of Kingdoms, is everyone's results are pretty different. So
it is. It is so much, yeah.
As we start to see Shrine of War going back to the game here, these stretches for 65 AC just keep going back and forth, which is how this lead, alongside the arc. But you could look at occupation. They're down about 1.2k in terms of occupation, even without the arc capture. So altogether down about 4.4, yeah, ish, 4.4k.
Yeah.
As we start to see the rotation mid early from, well, actually this is about around the time people usually rotate mid. We have 34 there before 65 AC, and you know, we've seen these mid fights play out, and usually the people that are there first have positioning advantage, allowing for them to, you know, as long as their murder ball is as big as their opponents, it could kind of body block their opponents from getting to the Temple of Osiris, getting to the Ark of Osiris. So, Dirty Dan, if you're 65, you're late to this rotation. What's the plan?
I don't know. Shaking my head right here. Both at 65 and just like, man, you knew this is the Ark. You knew this is the one. But also shaking my head at just how good 34 looks right now. Like they, as I just said, as they made that push onto the Shrine of War a few minutes ago, it's just step by step. They look so good, and then even for this arc, just getting there in a timely manner, all their structures are intact besides their top Shrine of Life is in the hands of 65 right now, which is a good step. But they look really good right now, which is almost uncommon in a way too, because they've kind of been running these Osiris League matches, as we kind of saw last week, without a lot of contention. And it was one of the topics that we brought up last week too, I believe, is, you know, if you're running through all these matches, you're not really getting a true test. Is it good or bad? But these guys look so good right now. I think it's just been a lot of timing.
Yeah.
So it looks very good for 34.
They look very crisp. I definitely think they practice a little bit here, or their shot callers at least, you know the metas of, hey, this is when we go mid, this is when we go buildings. And their murder ball right now, 34, are looking super strong, and it looks like they even have more people walking to this mid. And I would be interested to see this little murder ball here. This is looking pretty interesting.
Yeah. Cooking something up there. Huh?
They're cooking something. I don't know if it'll taste good, but they're definitely cooking. It is yeah, and you know, chats also talk about how can you win mid when you bring one of the strongest skills. I think that's going to be the question that they have to answer here. But looks like both teams here just trying to go mid, and as we see, the 34 marches doing the poking strat here. This is what I call the cheeseburgering of Ark of Osiris, but it's super effective, where everyone's so just valuable. Walking mid, and you just put them to yellow, put them to red, and now they're essentially a useless march. And if you 1v1 these guys, then you're just being delayed for your mid rotation. And it looks like the 65 AC guys are losing their ones here anyways, so it's looking pretty tough for them. As 65 AC, the murder balls, are they trying to a pincer maneuver perhaps, or I wonder if there's any vision from, no, there is no vision from 34 here, and it is a sneaky tactics play from 65. So people that were saying, what are they gonna do? Is it going to be, do you think it's going to be sneaky tactics into master strategies perhaps for this arc?
Yeah.
We have a minute left. Will these sneaky tactics marches, will they show? Are they going to just stay hidden? So they've brought the murder ball to the right so that the murder ball will go to this right side. They have sneaky tactics so that they'll have a free reign on this left side here. Oh my goodness, Aiden, is this going to be the play that steals them the arc? It is a lot of marches to commit to sneaky tactics, though. I feel like their murder ball is actually going to die before arc spawns.
Potentially, yeah.
There is like 50 seconds into this arc. Ooh, look at the sneaky tactic. They're just like walking around, chilling.
Yeah, this is where if you're in that murder ball, you kind of want to start moving around a little bit, I think. I know you still obviously losing out on some damage, but you kind of knowing in that murder ball that you're going to die anyway, and kind of maybe want to start to drag some arches and get some people who are undisciplined to start moving away from that Temple of Osiris. But
chasing KP in Osiris League is a real thing. As you said, see sneaky tactics used by 34 in response, but I think they're just using it to attack. There are still some invisible marches here. 8 seconds until Temple of Osiris spawns. We see 65 AC with the master strategies. They are trying with the arc steal here. Master strategies, sneaky tactics. Will they be able to get the pull? Will 65 AC be able to get this arc pull and leave with the arc? An arc heist. They have the arc.
Oh,
they lost it.
no.
But it is in their territory. They lost it in their territory, Dirty Dan. The arc teleported with them. I have never seen this in Ark of Osiris history.
I think they're taken back too. They kind of just sitting there waiting like, wait, did that just happen?
The arc carrier died, but their dead body with the arc got teleported with them onto the other side. What just happened?
Wow. Osiris League first. Holy cow.
What is they're leaving the arc? What's going? Wait, what? Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay, I was like, is this like a visual? That was. I cannot believe what just happened. I thought it was a visual glitch. I was like, is the arc actually there? But the arc is there. Shout out to the arc carrier bringing it with them to their grave. The arc stolen, and now they're back in this game, Dirty Dan.
They are. This is now a game, and you have to, and again, just go back to what you needed to get back into this. Stabilize your structure, stabilize a little bit. But the big question mark now is going to be, I think this is gonna have to go into a third arc. I don't think they're gonna be able to hold it.
Yeah, I think they
haven't
have
shown
to.
it to them. Yeah,
they gotta capture, right? Is that the play that you'd say? They gotta cap it. Ooh,
yeah.
But then they still have to the death on the other side, right? That's the thing.
Exactly.
Is the whole reason they did this is because they used to the death in the first bout of arcs. There's 34 should still have that skill. They should still have mid advantage, so I don't know if they'd be able to win another mid fight. That's the thing.
They haven't proven this match, which 5, that they can hold their own structures and advance onto 34 structures. So it's a really tough call here if you're on that side as a shot caller, but I think you have to go and cash this arc.
I don't know, man. I see a lot of camels on their side. They might be trying to camel it up over here and hold on to the structures as much as possible.
There is a fair amount actually there. Yeah, good call.
So they might be trying to farmer it up for the win here, and I feel like that's their pathway to victory, in my opinion. Is they know that these mid fights, the fact that they got that arc, by the way, is crazy. That was, if they win this game off that play, I feel like that's like the greatest arc steal of Ark of Osiris in Ark of Osiris history.
Absolutely.
That was crazy.
I would hate to be Lilith's support right now, because if 34 loses this, Lilith's support's gonna have a lot of questions.
The arc carrier died. How did it teleport? Wow, that was anyways, we gotta keep casting this match. But as you were talking about Shrine of War taken, the obelisk taken. So there is, that whole, they're losing structure slowly but surely. The occupation points, I mean, it's not that different, 440 to 430, but just trying to make sure that you continue to keep. Oh, it definitely changed now because of the desert altar capture. You just have to do your best to hold these structures as much as possible. You have to do your best to keep it as even as possible, so that your provisioners could carry you home, your gatherers could carry you home.
Here's another thing that was kind of shaking my head out earlier before too. When you're playing defensive the way that 65 AC should, there shouldn't be an excuse for not getting outnumbered on some of these structure fights that you're having. I mean, 34 is coming up obviously straight from their ob or from their territory onto the desert altar, but it takes so much time to get there. Like the refreshes for 65 should be so easy, and you're not having to worry about so much on your timing, right? You just have to get to your home structure and defend it. So that has been so detrimental to 65 right now, not being able to just secure and hold on to these altars and getting outnumbered on the field support, as we see a potential another take here from 34.
Yeah, it's oh, by the way, they did flip the desert altar, so that's a plus. Okay. They're doing their thing. I think the thing that's tough is it's a pendulum swing, right? Where the opponent's sad face back, but then now your marches are yellow. The next time your opponents come back, it's like, oh well, what am I supposed to do? We're literally half HP. And then they have these aggressive pushes to try to sad face, but I don't know, perhaps that when they go here, their opponents are just able to directly counter push. It really is a lot of decisions for 65 to make. It's like, okay, we're like low in health right now. Generally you'd push, but if you want to hold your structures, which they definitely do, just to keep this game as even as possible, like, well, what do you do in that situation? Do you push with your rallies, or do you try to flip a structure perhaps, or do you just, hold tight with and try to walk back home? Usually when marches walk back home, that's seen as a walk of shame in Ark of Osiris.
Yeah.
Or in Kingsland, by the way, Kingsland fighters, walk of
if
shame.
We even just key in on this push right here that they're doing, like they know, look, there's a rally walking right past them. They shouldn't be overextending here to push up to the shrine. I really hope that they pull back, but this is where I think that again they're maybe a little bit out of position, where you could have just sat by the desert altar, but they are actually going to meet this murder ball in the middle, it looks like, or they're kind of split a little bit, kind of going back and forth. So again, it just, you can see the precision from 34, and you can see a lot of indecisiveness 5, which I think has been the detriment. So
that's true. Like half of the murder ball here, you're pointing it out. Half of the murder ball is fighting. They're gonna get sad face, and then the people in the back are just like, oh well, now we're half of a murder ball. We're gone with half of our murder ball.
Yeah.
But it does look like they had a swarm call. That's why they want to swarm down this rally here. But yeah, and then the murder ball here is just making sure that the murder ball of 34 doesn't make it to the structure. So I kind of get the rationale of, as we were talking about, body blocking for your structures, so that if your opponents walk to your structure, I guess that's why they're here. If your opponents walk to your structure, then you're going to be punishing them by consistently doing damage. But if they fight you, then they're not fighting your structure. So it's kind of like this back and forth. And they also get the sad face. But the thing about it is 34 is so disciplined with how they target marches. Look at all the low marches from 65. This is not by accident. They see that a march is red, and they instantly start targeting another march. And that's exactly what you have to do in Ark of Osiris. Is, okay, sad facing them is actually gonna do them a favor because they get to reset. If we make them super low, they barely do any damage, and they don't get to go home. Is exactly what you have to do for 34 in this case.
Yeah, it's one of those tendencies that you try to train new Osiris League players, like, very first and foremost, and honestly it's hardest to instill. Being someone who's kind of helped coordinate some of these OL teams, definitely one of the hardest aspects, but it's one that we're seeing huge payoffs here for 34, as it kind of, again, catches 65 in the middle. Hey, we got to get back and get ready for this desert altar defense, because we know that they're going to be coming hot on us. We need to zero out real quick, and we're going to have to take the extra minute or two to walk up to the Shrine of War to do so.
By the way, I love the fact that sneaky tactics into massive strategies play worked. But
we saw it get flaunted last week with the counter on the dust up.
Yeah, we saw the dust up, which 34 used. Oh no, it wasn't dust. It was Desert Storm.
Desert Storm. I'm sorry.
34 used Desert Storm, which is the first time we've seen that. And perhaps it should have used Desert Storm again, because they were able to counter it last week, but not this week. As you know, now that this arc is here, it does make it a game. It's only going to be 3.5k, and they are down by about 5k points, so they have to somehow make up 1.5k, and losing your Shrine of Life is not the way to do so. Oosh, this is gonna be a tough bout between these two teams. Just hold on to the structures. Chat, who do you think is gonna win? Put it in chat. 65AC or W34X. I would still be pretty comfortable if I was W34X. It feels like they have, if they want to take a structure, they could take it. Just similarly, if they wanted to take a mid fight, they could take it, right?
Yeah, they just look very crisp right now. And again, let's all remember, chat, to the death should be in the pocket for 34. And with how dominant they've shown to be in these open field fights, a to the death is going to be the dagger, in my opinion, for 65AC, as the arc has been cashed.
No, it was drops.
Dropped. Oh.
They're sending marches through these arcs, just trying to make them capture.
Getting to that point where they should probably think about pitching it.
I think they just want to deny that fourth arc spawn, or third arc spawn rather, as much as possible. So they're gonna go. They're gonna go until 10 seconds, probably, maybe like 3 seconds until that arc's gonna despawn. Well, you can see the top left corner here, by the way, to see when the arc will despawn for 65AC.
So 65 has got to be aggressively provisioning right now, I would assume. I haven't been looking, but they have to be. That's the only thing that would close this gap a little bit more.
Oh, they're killing provisioners from 34. This is gonna be, if this Sarka doesn't get out of the node, then the provisions won't count. You have to get out of the node.
Mm-hmm.
They did not. That is huge. And that was probably one of their main provisioners because of how much health it had, right?
Oh, that's crushing.
That's probably like 500 points of provisions just gone down the drain, because for those that don't know, if you're getting attacked and you're attacked out in the open field when you're not in a node, the provisions will still count. But maybe it was just a full march, but hopefully it was just a full march. But if you're attacked within a node and you sad face, then all the provisions go away. It doesn't count towards provision. So that might have been a huge play for 34.
Very heads up play from 34 as well, knowing that these guys are holding the arc until they want to try and not get that fourth arc spawn, or third arc spawn, I should say, knowing that there's probably a lot of provisions on the other side, and making a call to go and try and snipe some of those guys.
Yeah, it's it's gonna be a tough it's a tough for 65AC for the provision, I feel, for them, because you're probably filling a structure, you're probably open fielding, and then you have your provision is being attacked. Like, that's why provisioning, especially in Arc of Osiris, people make fun of farmers, but in Arc, in Osiris League, it's actually such an important skill to have. There's a lot of skill in terms of just being able to micromanage your marches, finding nodes, where the nodes are, while also playing Arc of Osiris. So shout out to all the gatherers in the chat, I guess. Gatherers lives matter.
We're going to see a masterclass in gathering next match with this one, EE8 versus 489, by the way. So be sure to tune into the next match that Plato and myself are going to be casting, guys. That one's going to be a nice one as well.
Yeah, as we start to see, I think some provisions came back already, 2.4 to 1.2. So doubling them in provisions, but they are still down by, I think their provisioners came back a little bit too. They are still down by about, 4.8k? So they have to make 1.3k in provisions. I don't know if they have that in them. They already put in 2.4, and 34 is also counter provisioning. Dude, this is... Although the flip of the Desert Altar is huge, though. They flipped the Desert Altar. I have no idea how they did that with how dominant 34's approach has been. But they flipped it for a while. They're actually going to start generating points from the Desert Altar, which might be a huge play. If they hold this Desert Altar for the rest of the game, they might actually be able to win. Wait. Let's keep our eyes here. It does look like there's a rally. It does look like they don't have open field. So this Desert Altar will probably fall. But at least get a tick of points here. Is that how it works? As soon as it... But yeah, they're denying. They're at least denying the points per minute from 34, which is exactly what they need to do. Ooh, I don't know, man. I'm getting nervous for these teams as the Ark is about to despawn. Do they know this? I mean, this could be wrong. This could be wrong. The timers, the timers have been wrong in Ark of Osiris. We'll keep our eyes here though. Yeah, the Ark is still there, so they should be fine. It's probably like a minute late, but this also means that there will definitely not be a third Ark because we have. I mean, this timer might be wrong too. We have about, I'd say, 8 minutes left of this game. And they are chipping away at this lead. And they are now up to 3.1k. The provisioner is coming clutch, 3k provisions. Although 34 still has not, I believe, still have not put in the provisions. They do have some gatherer killers, but the gathering killing is also tough.
So close yet.
Look at the points now, Dirty Dan. They are in the lead.
Wow.
So, you know, holding that Ark, I feel like was their play. They are winning in points per minute. They are in the lead. And now I think it also comes down to 34's provisioners, funny enough, because 65 AC's provisioners brought them this lead alongside that Ark steal, the amazing Ark steal. You'll definitely see that in the highlight video of this week, by the way. Be sure to subscribe to the official Rise of Kings channel right here to watch that. But it is such a close game where each of these provisioners matter. 400 points. Oof.
You almost gotta say from 65 right now, let's start using sentries in those back lines and find gatherers and maybe get 3 marches, right? It could be from different players.
Where's Bogdan being used? To slow down the push on their Shrine of War? I mean, I guess, but their Desert Altar is being besieged right now. But yeah, both skill. Oh, to the death used probably on this Desert Altar. It is to the death used on a Desert Altar. First time I think I've seen that, but with no mid fight to be had, this is exactly what 34 have to do. They have to flip the Desert Altar, and this is going to be a huge take from them. Minus 300 points that would have went to 65 AC, gone down the drain, and now they could start this comeback. 530 to 270. We're going to have one of these nail-biter games yet again, Dirty Dan.
Love to see it. Love to see it, Plato.
As the Desert Altar falling pretty much scratched off the advantage that they got for taking the other Desert Altar on the other side to the death, actually proving to potentially be a difference maker. Oh my goodness. Look at the points. It's getting close.
I gotta give 65 AC a lot of credit here because with how Chris 34 has been, it's insane that the match is this close.
It all comes down to that steal. It all comes down to that Ark steal. The reason why this game's super close.
Fair point.
34 would have ran away with this game without the Ark steal, as you see them also use a valiant stand on the Sky Altar. So they're just holding onto these altars, taking Desert Altars. Like, it's looking tough. And you see the provisioners. People are saying, look at the top left. They do have a lot of provisioners still out and about. But so do 65 AC in this bottom right corner as we start to see sneaky tactics used. Whoa. Where was that? What?
I'm not sure.
I saw it here. Maybe the sneaky tactics is so good that we can't see the marches because I don't see I don't see any marches. Perhaps it's on the rally? I don't know. But anyways, you know, both teams just pop in their skills as much as possible. Desert Altar about to flip towards W34X. About to start generating points for them, which is going to be huge.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
I'm telling you, this Desert Altar flip is actually going to make the game probably.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Heraclius YSS just holding it down for W34X's hopes of repeating history, hopes of taking down 65 AC yet another season. At 65 AC, they're like, man, we are so close. We are literally 100 points away from them. This is, oh man, I would not want to be in either of these teams' shoes. Although, if you do win this game, you will get an achievement if you did not already get that. The 1K win an Osiris League game by 1K.
50 difference right now in these teams are just growing, going back and forth.
Oh my goodness, look at that. It is so close right now, Dirty Dad.
Wigging, oh my goodness.
It's very 40, reminiscent. It's like 43 points. 43 points, Dirty Dan.
Very reminiscent of the WIB JST match last week. I'm getting flashbacks.
Going on in this game? They took the lead. W34X took the lead. The Desert Altar dropped, which is exactly what you needed. But they won't be able to generate points from the Desert Altar anymore, I think. Perhaps like one more tick, but
that was some hold.
That was an absolutely huge hold, perhaps a game-winning hold. Although the provision, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy's also walking around. We got Matilda. Please let me find a node. We have other gatherers here. They have literally everybody gathering right now.
Hidden sentries, people, come on. Oh man.
Provisioners are gonna make the final score. I agree that provisioning is gonna make or break. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4 provisioners on this top side here from W34. So with the points of about like, oh my goodness, look at the points, like 100.
Yeah, buildings are stabilizing a little bit now, so you're probably going to see points per minute really start to balance out, as I think everyone's just saying, go farm. We got our structures.
Take a brick from the open field, find a node, just get in there. You see someone even standing on top of this level 3 caravan node. This is gonna be a nail biter of gathering. I mean, if this doesn't tell you that, you know, you shouldn't donate your bones as a Bastion quest, I don't know what will. Don't be lazy. Refresh those Bastion quests.
Yep.
Do those training Bastions. Don't give away your materials, even bones, because the gathering gear coming clutch for both of these teams. Sky Altar did drop, but there's only 30 seconds left in this match. They are up. W34 is up. We'll probably start to see the gatherers start walking back home here.
Yep, there you go.
Gatherers from, I think those guys already came back. Let's see. Oh my goodness, 50 points. Are there any more? We have more? Oh, we have these guys. Run, Matilda, run!
The timer too just bugs me out. Don't know when the match is gonna end.
Look at the points, Dirty Dan. They're up by 600 already.
Whoa, big provisions coming in for 65.
I cannot believe it.
Redemption on the horizon.
I cannot believe this. 65 AC against all odds. Oh, wait. Provision is coming in from W34X.
Oh.
What is going on? Look at the swing. 400 points up for 34. These provisioners gotta come home. Did they not come home? Who won? Who won? Coco with the MVP. But W34X coming clutch with the provisions.
Wow.
I cannot believe this game. W34X getting their arc snatched beneath their nose. 65 AC with the sneaky tactics, with the master strategy, stealing that arc, making this game close in the first place. That 7k point swing, making this game that close. But W34X able to get the provisioners in, able to kill 65 AC's provisioners, able to flip those desert altars at the end of the game, which ultimately gave them this victory. Hey Dan, do you have any final notes of this game?
Whoever's gonna go face 2934 W34X in the finals, be ready, because these guys look so crisp, so clean. Huge shouts 5AC, although I kind of bashing them a little bit, saying that they didn't look crisp or a little timings are a little bit off. Man, what a snipe on that second one.
Yeah.
Lilith, I would still probably be ready with your support, because you're probably going to hear about that one
Okay.
in a little bit. And provisions, baby. We're gonna see it next match with 1EE8 versus 489. So another one that's gonna go down to provisions. Farmers Unite. Love to see it.
Be sure to subscribe to this channel right here where you're watching the game, the official Rise of Kingdoms channel, to watch more Osiris League content. This game was crazy, and the games are just gonna get crazier and crazier. Congratulations for W34X for defeating 65 AC yet again in the semifinals, and 65 AC, what a performance, what a steal, and what a match that we just watched. And if you like our content, if you like our commentary, be sure to subscribe to both Dirty Dan and I's channels in the description below, alongside Chisco and Brian Coos. So we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.